Hello, and welcome to the virtual preview of the ClimateWise Building Challenge. ClimateWise Building Challenge is a York region-wide friendly awards and recognition competition created to reduce energy consumption and greenhouse gas emissions in buildings through collaboration, education, and innovation. Today, we want to tell you what it is, who can participate, and the benefits to you as a building owner and business in York region. Over the week, we'll introduce you to a network of experts and key stakeholders who provide their perspective on the importance of this initiative to our society as we transition to a low carbon, high productivity economy. But first, let me tell you a little bit about us. My name is Harry French, and I'm the program manager at the Windfall Ecology Centre. The Windfall Ecology Centre is a not-for-profit environmental organization dedicated to building sustainable communities. The center's focus is on empowering communities to create lasting wealth in a carbon-constrained 21st century. With the support of the Ontario Trillium Foundation, we are thrilled to have the opportunity to bring the ClimateWise Building Challenge to our community. For the last 20 years, we have been the preeminent environmental organization in York region. We conduct a range of community-based activities that work with residences, businesses, and municipalities. Our range of activities include home energy retrofits, to renewable energy, to business initiatives through the ClimateWise Business Network. As program manager of the ClimateWise Business Network, with my colleagues at the center, we manage the center's business activities. These, of course, include the network itself, which is part of the Green Economy Canada network across Ontario with 7 hubs. We manage the Ontario Benchmarking Help Centre through our partnership with Natural Resources Canada. The Ontario Benchmarking Help Centre helps businesses with technical questions related to the use of Portfolio Manager. Portfolio Manager is the reporting tool used by the Provincial Energy and Water and Benchmarking Program, EWRB, and by our partner, BOMA, Race to Reduce. In November 2019, ClimateWise launched the Mayor's Energy Challenge. This initiative focused on working with York Region municipalities to build awareness and participation in the proposed provincial EWRB initiative. And finally, I'm thrilled to announce that we will be delivering the ClimateWise Building Challenge. Over the week of November 30th, we'll be delivering a fact-filled, inspirational virtual preview of the ClimateWise Building Challenge. I will tell you more about the week's program later on. But follow our ClimateWise Business Network, Twitter, and LinkedIn accounts to stay updated on the series and subscribe to our newsletter. Many cities, municipalities, and countries have acknowledged that we have a climate emergency. The federal government, acting on an election promise, has introduced legislation to achieve net zero by 2050. The ClimateWise Building Challenge is a mechanism for local York Region businesses and buildings to take action on climate change. The competition is free of cost and open to building owners, landlords, managers, and tenants who want to join in the fight to combat climate change, who want to improve the bottom line by implementing responsible energy operations and behavioral practices. To be clear, the challenge is open to York Region buildings and businesses, but our guidelines are to be inclusive. We want to accommodate your passion to take action. As mentioned, there is no cost to register and to join the initiative. The only thing you need is a commitment to make a difference and to take action on climate change. You may be a commercial real estate owner with a portfolio of buildings or a single building. You may be an owner who owns a building or leases a space. We want you to be part of the ClimateWise Challenge. For the virtual preview, our focus is on commercial buildings. We are in discussions with York Region municipalities to include municipal buildings in the ClimateWise Building Challenge. Taking action on climate change is about building a sustainable future for future generations. But it makes sense now to businesses' bottom line and to the demand of building tenants. As the old adage says, you can't manage what you don't measure. The ClimateWise Building Challenge will help you measure and, importantly, to celebrate your accomplishments and your achievements. Over the week, we have an exciting program for you. Each day, we'll introduce a new video highlighting a conversation with a key industry player or stakeholder. We'll begin today with a congratulatory remarks from Mayor John Taylor of the town of Newmarket. Tuesday, we'll focus on how retrofits are driving green building growth. Wednesday is about smart building trends in cities and municipalities. Thursday, our partner Amoresco will discuss energy resilience and zero carbon discovery. And Friday, we'll wrap up with an invitation to participate from York Region Chair and CEO Wayne Emerson. Again, follow our Business Network Twitter and LinkedIn accounts to stay updated on the series, and please subscribe to our newsletter. Now let's welcome to day 2 of the ClimateWise Building Challenge, Jeff Ranson from the Canada's Green Building Council. But before we speak to Jeff, we'd like to show you a short video clip highlighting the Council's recent report, Canada's Green Building Engine, Market Implications and Opportunities in a Critical Decade.
The debate is over. Canada's green building industry is creating healthier and more comfortable places to work, live, learn, and play. It's also creating opportunity. The green building industry today contributes about $48 billion to Canada's economy and directly employs almost twice as many full-time workers as the country's oil and gas extraction, mining, and forestry sectors combined. Now, as our governments consider how best to jumpstart the economy, this sector is ready to step up. A pandemic recovery plan centered on green buildings would ultimately employ close to 1.5 million Canadians. In fact, smart investments in the green building sector could help ensure Canada meets its 2030 climate target while adding almost $100 billion to the economy and improving public health. Make no mistake, these are hard times. But with the right investments, Canada's green building sector could put people to work and reboot the economy while helping tackle our climate challenge. Let's make Canada's pandemic recovery a green recovery, with healthy green buildings for everyone at the center of the plan. To find out how you can help, visit cagbc.org/green-recovery.
Well, thank you very much, Jeff Ranson, the Green Building Council of Canada, for joining us today. I'm really pleased that you've been able to give us some of your time to talk about the Canada's Green Building Engine report, market impact and opportunities in a critical decade. Jeff is the Greater Toronto Area Regional Director for the Green Building Council of Canada, and we're really pleased to have him here as part of our ClimateWise Building Challenge virtual preview. Welcome, Jeff.
Thanks, Harry.
Yeah, a few questions for Jeff. Jeff's got a breadth of experience in a whole range of areas related to existing and new buildings, but we really found it to be very timely that the Green Building Council report on Canada's Green Building Engine suggests that the debate is over. In fact, that was the words that came from the report, that the retrofit economy is the way to be looking at things going into the future. So I want you to start off by just sort of sharing with us, Jeff, what are a few key facts that we need to take away from the report as it pertains to the retrofit economy aspect of the report?
Yeah, thanks, Harry. So I think there's sort of two pieces there that are worth considering when we start to talk about, first and foremost, the green building sector as an industry and as an industry sector broadly across new and existing buildings. When you look at the data from across Canada, that sector employs more people than all of our other major productive sectors and natural resource sectors combined. So if you take agriculture, if you take oil and gas, if you take forestry, you add them together, there still aren't as many people as are active in the green building sector broadly. Now, we define the green building sector as anybody who's actively working on the design and construction operations of green buildings. the supply chain that produces green building products and services, and then policy, academia, research around that, the green building industry. When we look at that in terms of GDP numbers, in the Ontario context, where we're really looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of $43 billion worth of direct and indirect GDP through green building projects, and it's about 23% of the total construction labor market right now is engaged in green building projects. So it's a really significant. When we talk about the retrofit side of the space, when we look at that green building activity, 3/4 of that activity is still on the new construction side. What we define as green buildings are largely new, high performance buildings. Mm-hmm. About 1/4 of that's on the existing building side. But if we look forward to our forecast, we look at what our regulated climate goals are asking for at the municipal level, the provincial level, the federal level. We know that the vast majority of our future emission reductions have to come from the existing building space. So we're going to have to flip that number upside down and increase the number of renovations and deep energy retrofits by a few orders of magnitude, really looking at 3 to 4 times the number of projects happening every single year. And from a jobs perspective, really we're looking at adding a huge number of new workers engaged in green building projects to meet that demand. Nearly in Ontario alone, it's about, we're looking at about 200,000 additional workers engaged in green building projects to meet that growth forecast above what you consider business as usual.
Yeah, those are impressive numbers for the report. And of course, the report builds upon some earlier work that the Canadian Building Council had worked on. You've been involved in it for a while, Jeff, but I wondered, when you look back on that work, was there anything that really surprised you, that stood out, that maybe you didn't expect to hear about?
I'm not sure that there were any real surprises. I think that, we've seen growth. We've seen, in a way, a lot of mainstreaming of, our previous 2016 report, things that we would have considered green building best practice. Some of those fell off because they're now sort of standard code activities. So, we've seen that growth. We've seen the trajectory of growth, and the number of people engaged and the diversity of professionals engaged in green building certainly has grown. So I don't think it was really a surprise. I think it's still a challenge. It's still a challenge to get good data across the country. And participation varies across the country. And that's a real challenge. And it's not enough to wait for that market demand to bubble up organically and then expect, training programs to emerge. We need to make sure that as we're pushing new technologies and we're pushing best practice, we're also developing the workforce so they're ready to go when those technologies are ready to go. If we don't have the workforce there, you're going to see industry back up. They're going to be hesitant to pursue stuff because they don't think there's capacity in the market. So that role in building that up is really important.
Yeah, and I see the way the report was positioned as well. It was a timely report from the perspective of the recovery, the green economy, the green recovery around the COVID-19 issues. We in the York region here at the Windfall Ecology Centre have been successful in starting to launch a ClimateWise Building Challenge. Certainly, Council has lots of experience with this kind of a program. And you're very successful with Disclosure Challenge. We're at a local level, got a lot of contacts with commercial and municipal operators at a local level. I wonder, how can our ClimateWise Building Challenge in York region support your national objectives?
I might flip that around and suggest that ClimateWise Building Challenge is supporting our national objectives already. We think, first of all, just from the idea of the first step to improving performance obviously is measurement. It's understanding what your performance is. And benchmarking is a critical tool to help building owners understand not just their absolute performance, but comparative performance, how they compare to their peers, how they compare across similar buildings. And so it's a really foundational tool, and we've seen in jurisdiction after jurisdiction across North America, leading with benchmarking. There's a real trend to gathering information about buildings, about reporting it, benchmarking that. From that, it enables a huge amount of research. It enables much more effective program design because we know really where the challenges are and what's needed. It allows owners to monitor performance over time, to see when things aren't going right, to understand maybe where they're doing very well and learn from that, or where they're not doing so well. And I think these are all really critically important pieces. And certainly when we start to get into other performance targets or even regulations, having those being informed by what's actually happening on the ground in the marketplace is critical for that to be accurately reflected. And benchmarking only works if there's participation. And it's really important as well that you recognize benchmarking is an opportunity. It's a real value add opportunity to access data that you otherwise wouldn't have, and to be able to leverage that data to reduce your costs, to improve your performance, improve the quality of your properties. So it's very much an opportunity, but one that requires participation. And I think the challenge is a great way to get people engaged in that.
Well, thanks very much, Jeff. Certainly, the ClimateWise Building Challenge is about benchmarking. Certainly, you got to start there. You can't manage what you don't measure. But we're looking forward to people taking action on climate change, and that's where the support from the Windfall Ecology Center and our ClimateWise Business Network is going to be able to help commercial and municipal owners in our York Region municipality take action on climate change. Jeff, we really appreciate your time this afternoon. You've given us a lot of really nuggets to think about. I hope people will take the opportunity to read the report in detail and on the website. Thanks very much for your time, and we look forward to talking to you more on participating in our ClimateWise Building Challenge. Thanks very much.
My pleasure, Harry. Thanks so much for having me.
Our ClimateWise Building Challenge website is up. To learn more, visit our website at climatewisechallenge.ca. We will be adding resources over the coming weeks, including our partnership with BOMA Race to Reduce, a participant's guide, and building registration page. Building registration will begin January the 1st. Buildings in York Region who already have a portfolio manager account will receive notice of the ClimateWise Building Challenge through our partnership with Natural Resources Canada Building Labeling and Disclosure Program. Let's stay connected. Don't hesitate to reach out to us at the coordinates below. We are here to help. We're here to help you take action on climate change. Follow our ClimateWise Business Network Twitter and LinkedIn accounts to stay updated on the series, and be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. Thank you, and stay safe.